Hey guys, okay, so welcome back everybody. This is kind of what I'm just covering up because my little tank up on me, and I took a shower, so I just to wash my face. My head looks a lot bigger than what it is, so whatever. I oiled my little locks and I put them up in here, so I'm all set. But guys, earlier today, and I'm going to try to do it in the time allotted for tonight. So earlier today, about 12 something, after I, cleaned up, the kids had lunch and they were fine, they were taking a nap. So God was telling me to do the video that I did. And we broke it up into 2 parts, so it was about an hour. Yeah, about an hour. And we were talking about utilizing your gifts and your talents right now. And I was giving you guys references on some of the prior videos that we've done. I also was giving you guys practical points and tips, and we were reading from scripture, and it was a lot to cover, but it was a lot of rich, good material from Holy Spirit was flowing. I was giving you guys personal practical examples, some other practical examples that he was showing me with certain people, and then we came from the Bible. Now, I don't remember everything that we talked about word for word. I just don't, because I had to delete those because they were mute. So I want to thank Miss Cheryl for letting me know that you guys couldn't hear, because I wouldn't have known that you couldn't hear. Well, maybe like if I would have went back on maybe the next day to listen and see, because sometimes I do go back over the videos, but I wouldn't have known like tonight now. So I'm grateful that she let me know that. So guys, I'm going to come back on and re-record. And then when right before I recorded it, I got 2 big distractions the first time. And then when I pressed still record it. And then that's how I know it's going to encourage someone. And then this time before I came on, it didn't want to record on my phone. So I'm like, I got a trick for you. I'm going to press through and do it anyway. So that's what we're doing today. So guys, I'm excited for you and for whoever this video is for. I had to go through 69 different app preferences and remove something from the microphone, something so dumb that it hasn't done in a long time. But guys, let's utilize this time, okay? And I am a little tired because today was busy. Like I said, I had the kids, I had some other things I had to do today, so I'm pretty tired. But I really want to do this video. Like I told you guys, it will be up tonight. So guys, we're going to be doing reading. And I also want to give you guys practical things, like some of the examples, and I just ask that God add a blessing to this video, this channel, me, and you, everyone that this encourages and bless this channel. Amen. So basically, some of the practical things that I was giving you guys. So we'll probably do practical first, and then we'll get into the reading. But this is kind of too hot, y'all. Hold on, wait a second. Guys, please bear with me. That's kind of too hot, and I have the AC on. I think it's because I just got out the shower and it was kind of hot today. But so please bear with me. I really wish, just bear with me. So guys, some of the practical things that I was giving you guys with, and I'm going to just try to go through it without rushing, but putting everything together. Some of the things that I do that works for me, with my gifts, like my spiritual gifts, and utilizing the gifts that God gave me. Of course, it's like this YouTube channel. Originally, I didn't want to do this YouTube channel. Sometimes, to be honest, I still don't want to do it. But because I'm giving this gift back to God, I'm utilizing the gift, and so many people's lives are encouraged, I'm continuing on with the channel because that's the gift that God gave me. So I was telling you guys that, there's these quotes like, some of the richest places in the world are the cemeteries because of the people that have died with all of their dreams and goals and purposes inside of them. And I was saying, I don't want that to be you guys, that I don't want to be a person that dies with my gifts and talents inside of me. I don't want to be a person that live a life of regret where they spent this era of their life doing that and it was a good thing, but it wasn't a God thing, and they're regretful and they're thinking back to what if or the time they missed. It's like, we can't go back and change the past, but you can move forward in the now and do what God is calling you to do. And like I said, guys, we did do some videos on this about utilizing your gifts. We did Bible studies on the different gifts of the Spirit, utilizing your gifts. I gave you guys some practical tips. Like, we did a lot of those videos last year. We did some this year as well. And I know we kicked off the beginning of this year in January talking about focus and different things like that, and just working what God gives you. You know, so practical gifts that I use, of course, okay, so spiritual is encouragement, praying. All of us need to be praying, right? Being called to a place of prayer, like as an intercessor. Encouragement, the writing. You guys know that I'm an author, and also, like, my writing is not just, so my writing is like to encourage people. Look at the weekly devotionals, look at the text messages, look at these videos, look at, you know, just different things that God will have me to use that gift. So it's like you got to utilize and work your gift. And another one, I started back to tutoring. Tutoring was something that I was doing a long time ago, like from when I was little. And, you know, I started back doing this about a month ago consecutively with the kids because they're out for summer. And this morning God was like, put it out there, and I did. And I got 3 more kids added. Now, I may keep it for only the summer, or I may extend it, but I like to pour into the kids because when I was little, I wanted to be a teacher, and I thought that I was going to be a literal teacher. But the older I got, I was like, no, I don't want to be a teacher like that. That's not for me. It's not for everyone. Like, certain things are not for everyone. But I noticed that God allows me to use my gift through teaching on the YouTube channel and connecting with you guys and doing these videos and like teaching my son and teaching, you know, my nieces and nephews and people that I've tutored in the past and will tutor now. So that's a gift that I'm giving back to God. Like that quote says, God gives us gifts, but what we do with it is our gift back to Him. Another example I gave you guys earlier was, I told you guys, like, God, give me the strength to keep going back over all of this. Guys, just bear with me. But, yeah, so I gave you guys the example of, okay, I love to cook, and there were times where, like, and I still cook, and there were times where, like I told you guys, I would get the food, like, for me and my son, and I'll prepare the food for that night. And when I was working, okay, this is going to be leftovers for my lunch tomorrow, so I don't have to go out for lunch this week or this time. And He will also have me to be a blessing and bless my neighbors or bless someone in the community, or you know, just be a blessing to someone. You know, other gifts, I have the gift of cleaning. You guys know I had a cleaning business, which I still have it, but it's just I'm more active in school with my boutique and other things in this season of my life. That's a gift. You know, people not only do their place get clean, like residential, commercial wise, but they feel peace once I leave. It feels like they're being cleansed. It's like God is using something through that gift. You know, and I also was telling you guys, like in my last place, well, even in my place before my last place, like upstairs in my last place, downstairs it was the living room, the kitchen, the dining area, and my son's little play area. Once you go upstairs, I told you guys about this place. It was like a haunted house for me, and I was there for 7 months. Once you go upstairs, there's the bathroom, there's my son's room, there's my room, and like by the stairs, like on this side of the rail, I had like my nail place, because I used to do like people's nails and feet. I've been doing that since I was younger, even going back like way before high school. Like I was a teenager. So I would set up the area for that. And then like inside my room, I had my stuff, my closet, and then I had my area for my fashion, like where I was sewing and designing, had my mannequin and things like that. Because I'm into fashion. You guys see I have the boutique. That's something I've been into since I was little. Business administration, I originally wanted to go to school for that before I went for psychology, but I'll be done with psychology this year. And I've been noticing that over the years, God has been teaching me business administration, you know, and different things. So it's like you just have to utilize and work your gifts, right? I told you guys in my last apartment, half of my living room was set up like as a living room, like dining area / living room / boutique stuff. You walk in, half of it was set up like a little mini store. Like if someone wants to pick it up, or have a boutique party. And like I was telling you guys earlier today, like you just have to utilize both what God gives you, gifts of encouragement. Like, and I'm also a big giver, so like that's another gift. You know, so you have to utilize the gifts. And guys, I look much darker than what I really am in this video, but tonight I don't care. But you know, you have to utilize your gifts. And I was just giving you guys examples, like when you look at a tree, it's not like a tree, you know, it's in seed form, but it's going to grow, you know. And a lot of times you have to start where you are. Like, it's good to look at the end goal with what God gave you, but you have to start where you are, and you got to continue on. Like, I was giving you guys examples, like, okay, for example, if you're a person that God showed you you're going to be a chef, start looking up, researching things. Start where you are. Okay, are you going to start catering? Do you want to cater? Do you want your own spot? Do you want to do local delivery? Do you want to do pickup? What do you want on your menu? You know, who do you want to target? Do you want to expand? I was telling you guys another example. Like a person, let's say God show you that you're going to be over like landscaping and lawn care. You know, maybe you don't have the resources right now, but you can begin to look up, you know, what type of lawnmower you want. Do you want one that you ride on? Do you want one that you have to push? Start looking those things up. You know, going back to the chef thing, you know, where are you going to buy? Are you going to buy in bulk? Are you going to start like getting little by little? Are you going to buy in bulk? Are you going to go to like the places like that have those things for that? Like, what are you looking for? If you want staff, you know, do you want to expand? Is it just going to be you? Do you want a small team? Like, use practical steps towards it, but also use the spiritual steps towards it. So you want to pray, you want to fast, you want to sow towards it, you want to invest, you want to have scriptures backing it up, and you want to be in agreement with God. Okay, I gave the another example God was showing me was the person that's in like the beauty field. Okay, maybe you cannot start in the salon right now, but you can be looking up and writing out what type of salon you want, or going out and look, or maybe perhaps working in someone's salon, or maybe working out of your home. Like, start with where you can, and God will bless and increase the rest, right? You know, he will bless and increase the rest. So we were talking about that, and I was also talking about how, like, the homes that we live in, it was more, I expounded, but tonight I don't have the time to do 2 videos, so I'm trying to put everything together and read so no one feel any ways. But I was also talking about like a lot of things, like, let's say like big companies, like they have certain quotas and projects and goals that they have in mind, and they're going to write those things down. Those things are going to be written down or discussed. So there's certain marketing things in place and strategies and different things that they have to communicate and come together in place for those things to work. And if it's like that naturally, you know, spiritually it's like that as well. You have to strategize, and you have to connect with God, and you really have to write the vision to make it plain, and you have to commit what you're doing before him. And I also was giving you guys in prayer and have scriptures to back it up, but also practically be doing your part. So I was giving examples for parents, like mothers. It could be fathers as well, but I was giving examples as mothers, because Justice had came out when I was saying this part. He had woke up from the nap and he had came outside. But it's like, okay, if you're a mom, do your best to invest in your kids on this level, because people that took the time to pour and invest in you, look where you are. And it's not saying that everybody was raised the same or everybody's upbringing was, you know, perfect, but seeds matter, and all those things that were poured into your life, God worked all that for your good, for you to get where you are, and not only where you are but where you're going. So I was just expressing to you guys, if you're a mom, be a great mom, pour into your kids. You know, I was just giving you guys tips on what I do, like for laundry, for cleaning up, when I go grocery shopping, when I spend Bible time, you know, with my son, when I teach my son certain things that he needs to know, when it's time for playtime and fun time, you know, just do what works best for you. And I was also telling you guys that wise counsel is also very important. Sometimes you're going to have to step out the box and do what God calls you to do alone, and that's okay. But God will send the support and the provision that you need along the way. You have to keep the mindset that, you know, you and God are the majority, right? And you know that he's leading and guiding you. So we're going to begin reading soon. I'm trying to think about other points that I kind of was talking to you guys about. I was just saying through the Holy Spirit, like, if you're a mom, be a good mom. If you're a wife, be a good wife. If God is calling you into business entrepreneurship, write the vision and make it plain and start where you are and allow God to grow those things. Don't, like we were talking about yesterday, you can't, if you're not looking at someone for inspiration and it's turning to comparison and contrasting and it's taking away from who God called you to be and what he called you to do and called you to question God, that's the wrong type of thing. Like, you have to work your level in your lane. Because that pen will open up other things for you. So, you want to use practical things and you want to use spiritual also. And you have to be balanced, right? Some of you, God may be calling you to go back to school. Okay, what do you need to do? You need to be looking up certain places that you like to go in your area. Do you want to go online? Do you want to go, like locally or out of state or whatever, or however it's where? And I was giving you guys an example, like, for months I was looking for certain schools and it's like I wasn't catching any really good breaks for any of those schools. And then when I got with the school that I'm currently attending, like the admissions advisor, like her spirit just took with my spirit, and I got accepted there, and I was glad. And I was like, I was pregnant before. No, I wasn't pregnant when I started looking for the schools. Like, I was looking for the schools a couple months before I ended up pregnant. Once I found that I was pregnant, I didn't get discouraged, and I was like, okay, I still want to pursue school, because school was something that I would do, like do trades. And like, originally I even told you guys this in the video earlier, after high school I wanted to go to school for fashion, because everybody that knows me knows I'm into the fashion. And it just didn't work, but I saw that God over the years was allowing, you know what I mean? So you just have to utilize your gifts and know your times and seasons. We were talking about that earlier too, like missed opportunities and God being able to catch you up in time and different things like that. But what was I just saying? I forgot what I was just saying. But basically, guys, utilize your gifts. Work what you can on the level that you are. Now, guys, I want to begin reading to you. And again, I forgot what I was just saying. But everybody's journey is going to look different, and you have to be okay with that. Because the seeds and the things that you sow now is going to reap a harvest for later. So just be found faithful with what God has you to do. So Proverbs 16:3, guys. And if I think about anything else while we're reading, I will give it to you guys. Proverbs 16:3, but for now, let's just get into the reading, so I know that this part is covered, because again, you guys are used to the channel. You guys know I give you practical and I give you biblical, so you have both. I feel like balance is key. Proverbs 16:3, we're going to read this again. Commit to the Lord whatever you do and your plans will succeed. Okay, so commit to the Lord whatever you do and your plans will succeed. And you guys that are used to me know, even those personally know I've been like this for a very long time. I'm big into short term and long term. Like, okay, what are the steps that you need to use? Like, what are the keys? What are the techniques that you need to use spiritually? But also on the flip side, practically, what are some things that you need to do? Oh, that's another thing. Thank you, Lord, that I was telling you guys. Check out the vision and goals video that we did. We kind of touched on different areas of your life. But if you missed that video, you guys can go back and check that out. And, be open to the supernatural, but at the same time, be practical with what God is telling you to do. So expect God, be open, believe Him, right? Ephesians 3:20, expect Him, partner with Him, agree with Him. Ephesians 3:20, He's able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you ask, think, or imagine. And also, don't have the mindset that God is going to do everything. Like, you're going to have to pull your weight too. Like, God is not expecting you to pull all the weight, and then it's like you shouldn't expect Him to pull all the weight. You have to do what He's asking you to do as His Spirit is leading and guiding you. And then there's some things that only He's going to be able to do, but there's going to be some things that He's going to need you to do. So, like, when I got accepted in this school, it's like 20 other schools over 2 months kept, emailing and calling. They were like, hey, we're sorry, missed your call. Oh, hey, we want you now because this school wants you. And I'm like, no, I'm sticking with this school. So by this time, when I got accepted in this school, like, now I'm 4 months pregnant. And I started school when I was 6 months pregnant. And Justice is going to be 4 in a couple of weeks. So you guys can tell I've been in school for over 4 years, and I'll have my degree this year. But that's what I'm saying. God strengthened me and gave me grace and helped me during these times over these years and seasons with school. But there were practical steps that I had to take. I had to get on Google. I had to search. I had to ask certain people, hey, do you know of any good schools of this, that? They didn't. Okay, well then I have to get into this, because I had some schools like where I would go and have like trades with certain things and learn certain things, but I wanted something a little bit more, so you got to have a balance with that. Okay, so Exodus 18:1 through 27. Exodus 18:1 through 27. We're talking about Jethro visits Moses. And I also was telling you guys, I was giving you guys some examples from Proverbs of how it's so important to have godly counsel. And if you don't have godly counsel, then you have to partner with God, and God will give you the counsel that you need along the way, but to be following his leading and guiding. Okay, so we have about 11 minutes on here. I want to do my best to read all of these. And like I said, if I have any more tips or points, I'll include them in the video. Or maybe I can put them below, but I'll try to include them in the video. So Jethro visits Moses, Exodus 18. Now Jethro, the priest of Midian and father-in-law Moses, heard of everything God had done for Moses and for his people Israel, and how the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. Okay, so just keep in mind everything that we're talking about in these scriptures and how everything will tie in for you. Really quick, before I get into verse 2. Thank you, God. This is another one. So going back, we talked about this earlier too. Like when you're getting a house built, a lot of times, like I had made this joke because that's the way he had showed it to me. But it's, when you think about it, it's like, but that's true. Like when you want your house built, you don't just say in your mind, oh, I want this house, and poof, it's going to come out of my mind and here's my house. Life don't work that way. You're going to have that in your mind, because a lot of times God is going to put his desires in you with what he wants. That's why you have the desire. That's another thing I was talking about. A lot of times when you have the desire from God and it's not going to waste, because he gave it to you and he wants you to birth it out, or he wants you to pursue it. It's like no matter what you go through or do, that doesn't get away from you, and that's because it's God's desire giving it to you. So why would you not partner with him to bring it to pass when really it's his desire? He gave you that gift. He gave you that personality. He gave you that drive, that desire. So like a lot of times when you're doing a house, and I even reference even the cars that we drive, the homes that we live in, a lot of those things start on paper. There are certain blueprints for those things. And then you look at the cars, there are certain parts that have to be built. There are certain pieces that have to be brought together for that car to be like a compound and become a car. Like, and then for homes, they're going to ask you, hey, what type of roofing do you want? What type of windows do you want? What type of tile do you want? What type of paint for the outside do you want? You want solar panels or not? What type of space do you want? What type of look do you want? They're going to ask you, how big you want it to be. It has to be in certain compliance with the city that you live in, because the city has certain rules and regulations and like ordinances that have to be in place with that. So if it's like that with a house, in the houses and homes that we live in, and cars that we drive, and certain corporations and businesses, we were talking about that earlier, corporations and businesses and stocks and different things. It's like, if it's like that physically, spiritually, it all has to come together. You got to do your work on both ends, practically in this physical world and realm, and then you got to go in the spiritual realm and partner and agree and work with God and use the tools and strategies that he has given you. Okay, so now let's get into verse 2. Going back to Jethro visits Moses. Basically, Jethro, if you're not familiar with this story, is Moses' father-in-law. Okay, so after Moses had sent away his wife Zipporah, his father-in-law Jethro received her and her 2 sons. So Moses had kids, he had a wife, but his journey is like it didn't really. Okay, so one son was named Gershom, for Moses said, I have become an alien in a foreign land. And the other was named Eliezer, for he said, my father's God was my helper. He saved me from the sword of Pharaoh. If you go back and you read over on a lot of the things with the people back in the day, they used to name, like God will have the prophets or the people name their children or name certain things, what was happening, what was to come, or something like that. Like that, it would be very prophetic. Like even look at Joseph with Ephraim and Manasseh, right? So Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, together with Moses' sons and wife, came to him in the desert where he was camped near the mountain of God. Jethro had sent word to him, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. They greeted each other and then went into the tent. Moses told his father-in-law about everything the Lord had done to Pharaoh and the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and about all the hardships they had met along the way and how the Lord had saved them. Jethro was delighted to hear about all the good things the Lord had done for Israel in rescuing them from the hand of the Egyptians. He said, Praise be to the Lord who rescued you from the hand of the Egyptians and of Pharaoh, and who rescued the people from the hand of the Egyptians. And now I know that the Lord is greater than all other gods, for he did this to those who had treated Israel arrogantly. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, brought a burnt offering and other sacrifices to God. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law in the presence of God. Why do I feel like we're going to have to do a part 2 to this video? I just feel that. I don't want to physically, but I'm feeling like that's something we need to do. So if this cuts off, I'm just going to have to come back on and do it. Y'all pray for me that God would just... Let's just continue on, guys. So we're in verse 13, Exodus 18. The next day Moses took his seat to serve as judge for the people, and they stood around him from morning till evening. Because I feel like God wants me to give you guys more practical examples, and so you can hear fully the examples, more examples, the how-to, and the reading. And this thing is going to cut off on 31 minutes. So, and let me take this off because I feel like it's oily in my hair enough. Alright, whatever. So 13. So the next day Moses took his seat to serve as judge for the people, and they stood around him from morning to evening. So just look and see like how burdensome this must have been for him, right? So when his father-in-law saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he said, What is this you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit as judge while all these people stand around you from morning till evening? See, it's like Moses is doing a good thing. He's in place. God has called him to this place. He's doing what God's called him to do. But the wisdom, he's stressing himself out. And the Lord sent Moses for him to visit him. Pretty much you could say like this is divine. Because after all that they had went through, for him to see him, it's like this is really good. And he's giving him wisdom. Right? So why do you alone sit as judge while all these people stand around you from morning till evening? Moses answered him, Because the people come to me to seek God's will. Whenever they have a dispute, it is brought to me, and I decide between the parties and inform them of God's decrees and laws. Moses' father-in-law replied, What you are doing is not good. You and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice, and may God be with you. You must be the people's representative before God and bring their disputes to him. Teach them the decrees and laws and show them the way to live and the duties they are to perform. But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Right? So this is tying back to what we be talking about. Stand in your lane, working, what God has given you to do. Because they're trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, so this shows that they have character, they have integrity. And then what else? They're appointed as officials over its thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you. The simple cases they can decide themselves. That will make your load lighter because they will share it with you. See, God will give you the resources and the tools that you need along the way. Okay, guys, it's 29 minutes, so make sure that you check out part 2 for the rest. We're going to get more practical examples, and we're going to continue more reading. But both videos are tying in together, so if you're listening to part 2, check out part 1. If you're listening to part 1, check out part 2. Okay, so listen to this, 23 going to 27. If you do this and God so commands, you will be able to stand the strain, and all these people will go home satisfied. See, because sometimes work is not always easy. Sometimes the purpose and the call that God has in your life is not always easy. But he said you'll be able to stand the strain, and all these people will go home satisfied. So it's a win-win for both, right? So Moses listened to his father-in-law and did everything he said. He chose capable men from all Israel and made them leaders of the people, officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. They served as judges for the people at all times. The difficult cases they brought to Moses, but the simple ones they decided themselves. Verse 27, then Moses sent his father-in-law on his way, and Jethro returned to his own country. Quick pause. For you that were taking notes, or for you that you're one that just listen and you have to think about it, or you'll go back over it. What was something that stood out to you personally in this video? What stood out to you? What is something that you know you need to start utilizing that gift? You need to start utilizing that talent. You need to start doing that thing that God gave you. Or it could be something where you need to continue doing it. You need to start, or you may need to stop something and start. Or what is it? It may be something that you need to pick off the shelf, blow off, dust off, and continue on. I don't want this to just be... See, the thing with me with these videos and these channels, I told God, if you're going to use me for real. And I really want people's lives to be impacted and changed. And I want all the glory to go to you. And I don't want to hold anything back that could be a blessing, even if it's just one soul. So I really want you guys to take the videos and the pouring out and the connections seriously, because it's something that God wants somebody to get. So let me know what you got out of this video. I'm going to begin recording the second video. Keep in mind, these do take a while to upload, but guys, be blessed, and check me out in part 2.